Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling realizes many people are worried about their finances. We're here to guide you through the next steps to restart your life with easy video appointments. New clients don't have to leave home to get information about becoming debt-free. Also, convenient in-office appointments are available at the low cost of $340 upfront for a Chapter 13. You can be on your way to being debt-free. Contact Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling today or visit our website at mcdebtfree.com. We are here to help you.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Well, good evening and welcome to Mississippi Live Weather at 10. It has been a cold day here across North Mississippi. And of course, that's thanks due to that cold front that blew on through last night. We were tracking that out during the 10 o'clock broadcast, and now we are reaping the benefits of it as we get ready for the new years ahead. So I have the very latest as we wrap up 2025 and get ready for 2026. We have a cold start to the mornings ahead. I mean, we have the next few days just talking about low 20s, mid 20s, working just above freezing. So these cold temperatures definitely going to last for the rest of the year and into 26 before they start getting a little bit warmer. But beautiful and dry conditions will be the story for the afternoon. So as long as you can make it through those frigid start to the day, you're going to see those beautiful conditions during the afternoon as well. Me personally, not a fan of the super cold conditions, but I know it's still going to be beautiful nonetheless. So that is definitely a good positive note as you continue into the week. But those rain chances kind of holding off until next year. So that's where we can start making the jokes where it hasn't rained in a year or it's not going to rain until a year from now. So we're holding off on those rain chances. New Year's Eve forecast is looking pretty good and pretty much into New Year's Day. It's not until Friday and Saturday where we start to see those rain chances, but of course we're going to continue tracking that out and trying to pinpoint when we can expect it, especially since it's holding off until January. But let's take some live looks out here across North Mississippi. This is out in Clarksdale, 32 degrees, but feels like 25. That's the story as we continue into the days coming up, especially into Tuesday and into Wednesday as well. We're going to feel a lot cooler than what those temperatures are reading outdoors, but still beautiful conditions, kind of seeing some of those wispy clouds up there in the sky, but we're still going to see and talk about clear and mostly clear conditions as we continue into the days ahead. But let's take another live look out here across North Mississippi. This is out in Amory. And there we go again, 30 degrees feels like 22. So even though that temperature is reading 30, you're talking about low 20s almost into the upper teens, and we'll probably reach there by the time we continue into those evening hours. 9-mile-per-hour winds coming out of the northwest, and that's what's making us feel a lot cooler with that Arctic continental air continuing to blow into North Mississippi. Here's another look out there in Edinburgh. You can definitely tell some of those wispy clouds out there off in the distance, but 30 degrees feels like 21. There we go. A little bit stronger winds up in the double digits. 11-mile-per-hour coming out of the northwest. Oh, it's just going to be very chilly conditions as we wrap up our Monday and get ready for the Tuesday ahead. But it gets even colder. I'm talking 29 degrees by 11 o'clock, cooling off and seeing mid-20s by 5. But we're going to feel a lot cooler than the mid-20s due to those windy conditions still kind of being pumped into North Mississippi. We're going to slowly warm up. We're talking about mid-30s by 11 o'clock, so definitely a cold start to the day and kind of lingering all day long. But at least we have those sunny conditions to be paired with it to get us through our Tuesday tomorrow. But taking a live look at Mama Justice Mississippi Live Weather Radar, we are tracking a whole lot of nothing. A very different story as compared to last night, but very beautiful conditions across North Mississippi. So a good thing that we're not really seeing much on the radar. We're going to stay dry tonight and pretty much for the next few days until those rain chances come back into the forecast for your January. But ending 2025 on a dry note. So let's continue with this broadcast and talking about that cold front. That's what blew through last night. Even when you look at some models, you can still see that tight just gradient moving on through the Atlantic Ocean. But for us here, we are staying dry and seeing that cool Arctic air just continue to push into North Mississippi. That high pressure system out here is helping it as well. That clockwise spin, bringing it all the way out from the north down here to the south. And we are definitely feeling it as we continue into the evening and overnight hours. But that futurecast showing that wind still blowing into North Mississippi, coming out of the northwest, allowing us to feel much cooler throughout the days. Let's continue tracking this out on Futurecast, kind of seeing some of that cloud cover move in very briefly into the overnight period, seeing those mostly clear conditions, but also moving out just as quick. Starting to see some of those wispy, very thin clouds. Definitely not going to be able to see them overnight, and only going to barely see them once we reach those daytime hours. But even then, by the time we reach lunchtime and on, that cloud cover gone. We are in a very dry state right now and a dry atmosphere above our heads. So going to be sunny skies as we continue into our Tuesday. But the next 24 shows exactly that. We're starting off with mid-20s by 6 o'clock tomorrow morning with those mostly clear skies, so those thin wispy clouds moving on through, transitioning to sunny skies, warming on up towards the upper 30s by lunchtime, low 40s by afternoon for some areas, and then cooling on off, seeing 30s by 9 o'clock. We'll definitely be talking about upper 20s during that 10 o'clock broadcast later on tomorrow night. But of course, I want to give you an in-depth look on what your Tuesday looks like, but also your New Year's Eve plan, New Year's Day, and also all those bowl games that we have going for Alabama, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State. I'm going to be giving you all the latest on those forecasts coming up after the break.
Give the gift of a delicious burger from Bulldog Burger, a soup and sandwich from Sweet Pepper's Deli, appetizers and cocktails from The Grill, or even a wood-fired steak from Harvey's. Choice is the perfect gift. An all-in-one gift card from Eat With Us.
The bravest thing that my dad has done has been going back to school.
It wasn't when he first enlisted, it was when he found his first support group.
The bravest thing she did is when she asked for help.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Caleb Edelblut.
Well, welcome back to Mississippi Live Weather at 10. Taking a look at those current conditions outside in Tupelo. 29 degrees. Already talked about those upper 20s right now. 8-mile-per-hour winds coming out of the northwest, and that's what's responsible for making us feel like we are in the low 20s. And that dew point showing just how dry we are right now. That cold front pushed out any saturation we had last night out of Mississippi completely, pretty much out of the southeast. So we are seeing a dry forecast for the next coming days. It'll take a while for that saturation to come back. But let's take a look at that temperature change. We were talking about this dramatic drop in temperatures all the way out in Oklahoma City as that cold front was continuing to push on through. Well, now we're talking about it right here in North Mississippi as it made its way through within the past 24 hours, dropping pretty much almost 40 degrees across North Mississippi. Even put in kind of our area to track this out along certain cities. You can definitely tell where that cold front reached a little bit later on in the night as compared to earlier. Only 18 and 17 out there in South Haven and Tunica, 20 in Senatobia, 25 Cleveland and Greenville. But tracking out where the cold front reached us the latest out here in Aliceville, 34 degrees change, 35 in Columbus, 37 Amory and Hamilton, 39 Tupelo. We did have minus 40 earlier on, but it's already kind of changed as that time continues to tick as we continue into the overnight hours ahead. But that futurecast still showing mostly clear conditions all across North Mississippi, also those breezy conditions moving on through our area, and that's pretty much only what we're going to talk about. That wind direction really going to impact our forecast not only today, but into the rest of the week ahead. And once we see that change in wind direction, we'll also see a change in the forecast as well. But that played through all of tonight heading into your Tuesday morning, seeing those mostly clear conditions when we wake up, but still a beautiful day ahead. So let's talk about those low temperatures. I mean, it will be a brisk morning, pretty much low 20s all across North Mississippi. 21 in Houston, Bruce, Water Valley, Oxford, Holly Springs, Grenada. 23 in South Haven, Tunica, 25 Clarksdale, Cleveland, and 26 down there in Greenville. But those feels like value, that wind chill, definitely going to make us feel a lot cooler for any of us that have to get out to work early. Any Tuesday morning early commuters, definitely going to be feeling like we are in the mid to upper teens across North Mississippi. Looks like Eupora is pretty much the only one left out. 23 is the best case scenario right here around 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. So still, regardless, a cool, chilly day ahead. So make sure you have those layers on and get the kids to wear their layers because it will be a chilly day all day long. But let's talk about that no school day forecast. It's going to be another day spent inside pretty much with those kids bouncing off the wall, still enjoying all those Christmas gifts. We're starting off around 23 degrees by the time we wake up, only warming up towards the mid 30s by the lunchtime hour, maybe seeing some low 40s. But of course, those wind chill, those feels like values going to be a little bit cooler than what those temperatures are reading outdoors. But coming back to Futurecast, we can still see that mostly clear start to the day. But as we continue pushing towards lunchtime and on into the afternoon hours, not much to look at. We are going to see sunny skies all day long. This is at 12 o'clock Tuesday. Still seeing that wind push in from the northwest across North Mississippi, allowing us to feel a lot cooler than what those temperatures are reading. But that was in play all the way into your Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock. So still not tracking out anything, not as breezy by the time we make it towards tomorrow evening. So definitely a good sign and a change of things to come into your forecast. But those high temperatures tomorrow, pretty much the low 40s still all across North Mississippi, pretty much a repeat of today. 38 out there in Hamilton, Iuka, Boonville, and Corinth, 41 Oxford, 42 Grenada, 41 Greenwood, Belzona, and 42 out there in Greenville. So definitely still a chilly day ahead, but also going to feel a little bit cooler than what those temperatures are reading due to that wind coming out of the northwest. That cold front still bringing that Arctic air, and with it kind of feeling a little bit breezy, going to feel a little bit colder on the skin as we go about our day. But with it being a lot cooler and still on Christmas break, maybe that fishing forecast will come in handy, especially if the fish move a little bit better in the colder temperatures, or certain species do. Wanted to include this no matter what the temperature is because y'all are the expert fishermen, so it might be able to help. But starting off the day, if you want to go out there early, 23 degrees by 7 o'clock, warming on up towards the upper 20s by 9, and then seeing mid-30s later on, close to lunchtime, but maybe you want to go out later on in the afternoon and into the evening. 6 o'clock, 37 degrees, cooling on off towards the low 30s by 8. Then we're talking about upper 20s by 10 o'clock. But if anyone's fishing at 10, I know y'all will need a little bit more luck than the temperatures just with how dark it'll be outdoors. But that futurecast still kind of showing not as breezy conditions across North Mississippi, but also not coming out of the northwest. That's important to notice as we continue tracking out these weather conditions. Some wispy clouds moving on in overnight. This is Wednesday at midnight, getting ready for our New Year's Eve plans, continuing to just kind of push out of North Mississippi. But here we go. Our wind direction coming out of the west, moving to the east. So showing that not going to feel much of a change in those temperatures as we go about our day, but also going to be a little bit warmer. We're going to start warming up as we continue into the week ahead and continue warming on up as we go into 2026. But this hasn't been in play and is still currently in play going all the way into your Thursday evening, but showing that wind now coming out of the west, now even southwest. So bringing some of that moisture, not really mugginess, but bringing that saturation back into the forecast. And that's what's going to allow those temperatures to start rising just a little bit. Take a look at those high temperatures, pretty much mid-50s across North Mississippi. We can still talk about low 50s for those that enjoy the cooler weather. 51 in Hamilton, 50 Red Bay, 51 Iuka, Boonville, and Corinth. But as we continue out in the Delta, 55 in Grenada, Greenwood, Belzona, 56 out there in Greenville, 53 in Clarksdale as well. But those feels like values going to do a lot better, matching up almost perfectly with those temperatures. So showing that change in the forecast. It's going to start pretty much New Year's Eve and go into 2026. And we're going to see that gradual warming trend start to take place as we get ready for January. But speaking of the New Year's, let's take a look at your New Year's Eve forecast. Still a beautiful one. We are seeing clear skies tomorrow night. That is perfect news for all your firework plans that you have outdoors. 45 degrees by 6 o'clock, so still want to keep those layers on as you go out and about, especially for the party and celebration that we'll have out here in Tupelo. Cooling off towards the upper 30s by 9 and still pretty much upper 30s by midnight. So good news, not going to be as brisk and chilly as it'll be tomorrow night and even into Tuesday night. But definitely some good news as we get ready for 2026. That's just around the corner. But let's talk about those bowl games, as all of our teams have a bowl game, and especially some more important than others with the college football playoff. And one of those will be Alabama out there in Pasadena, California. And we can already see how much that forecast has changed since I believe it was Friday when we started talking about this. Those rain chances continue to skyrocket. So for those that are traveling to California, maybe expect a soggy forecast. Could definitely change the play style, but pretty much mid-60s throughout the entire game. So a beautiful forecast in the temperature department, but not really in the rainfall department as the Crimson Tide face off the Indiana Hoosiers. But let's take a look at Ole Miss down there in New Orleans. It'll be an inside stadium with the dome, so not really having to worry about the weather, but still beautiful forecast. Not even if there were rain changes, wouldn't affect y'all. 60 degrees by the first play and only cooling off a degree by the time you reach halftime and the final snap. So wishing the best of luck to the Rebels out there as they face off Georgia. That will be a good game because I think they played earlier this year, so should be a rematch. And every time they play, it is an instant classic. But of course, we have the Mississippi State Bulldogs who snuck into a bowl game. They'll be playing Wake Forest out there in Charlotte, North Carolina. Still, beautiful forecast. Those rain chances trying to creep back in just a little bit, but 47 degrees by the first play, warming on up just slightly, seeing temperatures around 48. So still, probably I'd give Ole Miss that forecast probably the best one, but a dry forecast for the majority here as the Mississippi State Bulldogs face off with Wake Forest. But that 7-day forecast, let's talk about that temperature change that we'll see later on into the week. 41 degrees for your high Tuesday. Enjoy those cooler temperatures because Wednesday on, we're going to be pretty much in the 50s, eventually upper 50s. 53 for your high Wednesday, still seeing those mostly clear skies for New Year's Eve. And then that saturation comes back. We start to see those clouds come back into the atmosphere Thursday, warming on up towards the upper 50s and pretty much just sticking there as we continue into your Friday, Saturday, Sunday, into next weekend, and eventually the next work week. Those rain chances also trying to come back into your forecast just a little bit, 20% by Friday and into Saturday, warming on up and seeing pretty much the mid to upper 50s as we get ready for 2026 and get ready for pretty much another work week ahead here. But I wanted to walk off screen just to check the comments to make sure I'm not missing any questions because y'all have done an excellent job lately popping off with some questions, and I wanted to answer any and all that y'all have. So looks like I've explained everything perfectly tonight, so I hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all's Monday evening. I look forward to seeing y'all back here tomorrow, and of course, here's the QR codes to both the iOS and Android QR code to our app. This will allow us to send you updates for when we go live, but also when we have weather like last night, letting you know when rain, hail, or just whatever's going on. We'll always keep you updated no matter if it's 2025, but into 2026 as well. Of course, we'll be live later on tomorrow. We'll have our morning shows at 6:30, 7, and 7:30 with our meteorologist, Maggie McCauley, as she wakes up bright and early with y'all, and we'll definitely be talking about those brisk conditions to get y'all ready as y'all walk out of the door. And we'll be back here in the Room to Room Weather Center at 5, 6, and 10 to cover the latest on those New Year's Eve plans, as we'll be a day away and talking about the new year as well. So definitely exciting news coming up in the future. I'm excited to share all of them with you. But of course, we'll see y'all back here tomorrow night, and I hope y'all have a good rest of y'all's Monday.
Community is the way we find our strength and share our hope. It's the way dinner on the table brings a family closer together. It's the way we make sure his first chapter book is the first step on his path to greatness. It's the way we rally in hard times and rise back up stronger than ever. United is the way we come together so everyone can thrive. Join us at unitedway.org.